Let me answer this question from Chinonso Merit Tochukwu. And she said, how about when you are told as a woman that you are reincarnate of a person that used to be an Ezenwai, that was very active in service of Chukwokike in her days. Now, presently as a young woman unknown to her, she is now required to set up an altar as the person she reincarnated did in her previous life. If not, the Chi will not be happy with her. What is your take on this? Now let's talk about this in plain language. The world and the time which your reincarnate lived in is not the same as at now. Now know it that development is also a spirit. It is also a spirit, and it comes in the way God planned it to be. Yes, there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth him understanding. So everything we do is according to the willing and the understanding given to us by the inspiration of the Almighty. If you look into things, you will see that a lot has evolved. You will not let a spirit put you in bondage because of service. No. Now listen to this. It is in your place to explain to the spirit of your reincarnate that times have changed. That what we do here now is different. Because the spirits may not understand what development means. It is not their assignment, it is not in their place. It is left for you to do that explanation. First of all, you need to find out the covenant that your reincarnate operated with. Know what they bow down to. Is it out of ignorance or whatever? And what covenant do you want to operate with? There is no spirit that just comes upon somebody and begins to possess them. Before a spirit will look at you and say, I want this one to serve me, there is something about that person. But it's left for you to gear yourself towards the covenant that best suits you as a person. If you embrace God and create a covenant with God, you that know you have a calling to serve humanity, because every service is to humanity. Forget whatever it is that stands contrary. Look at this. In ancient times, if you own a bicycle, you're a wealthy man. Things evolved to a point where if you own a Volkswagen, what was that? B2, yes, B2, you're a wealthy man. As at that time, it was costing 10 naira. Have you seen the way things evolve to a point now that even your Mercedes Benz is a toy? Yes, is a toy. Because a lot of people that own bigger and stronger beasts are there. So now look at it from this standpoint, that at that time they were putting on all maybe white clothes to differentiate themselves from other people. They create an altar, have it in the house or have it somewhere that they go to, they bring the spirit into that place and keep it there. Not these days. Men and women are becoming mobile altars. That is where we are now. You don't need to have it somewhere. It lives inside you. Some people were told that they have a calling. That calling is what destroyed them, because they took a wrong turn or a wrong approach to it. Have you not witnessed a scenario where a man is told that he has a calling, and then without proper knowledge about what to do, he just jumped into church, became a pastor under a person? That same thing that was chasing them came into that church and still created problems for him. He became enemies with either the general overseer or something just happens, and then, But they told you have a calling. Now you answered the call by being a pastor. What is now the problem? Why is it that everything is working against you in the church? You see young pastors, they are getting things from other people, but you can't get anything from anybody. What is the problem then, since you've answered your call? That's the way it is with some of these ladies that jump into being a spiritualist and call themselves Ezenwai. Differentiate between these two things. An Ezenwai is someone that has royalty in them. It is not a spiritualist. If you see an Ezenwai, you should know. It does not have to gear towards the spiritual part. Most of you have no business with those things, but because you don't know what it takes, you can be an Ezenwai in the business sector. You can be an Ezenwai in the medical sector, in the political. Royalty is everywhere. We all have our callings according to the diverse sectors that are existing in life's activities. It is not just in one place. The moment you hear Ezenwai, all you hear about, all you see is that you are already having cowries on your head, you're already tying white clothes. They were tying that white cloth at that time to differentiate themselves as people of purity, people of standard. Most of you that have seen them in the dream, you see the way they look. It is that way they look then, that is how they still look in the dream now. Then if they reincarnate and become you, what you need to do is to make them understand. Now, white. It is no longer those times they tie white clothes. When I'm going to handle some thick and deep spiritual matters, it's not a must I will put on white. It's not a must I will put on red. I can even be like this and go to do what I want to do. The power is in you, not on what you wear. That's why I told you that men and women are becoming mobile altars, but you're not understanding it. So Tochukwu Merit, let me assume that you're asking this question for somebody that it's not you. Get to find out what space she was occupying. Get to find out what she was serving for. Get to find out what services was required. Get to find out what service she was rendering at her time. She was serving the water, keeping the place, keeping the flames and all that. Now in this era, they are requiring that from her. Do you want to serve water spirit? The answer is no, because we already know better now. The only thing you need to do is to connect yourself to higher covenants with God. Higher covenants with God. God will speak from the place of his own authority. If you are with God, those spirits will not demand some certain things from you. It's just that you run into church. That you run into church is not that you're standing with God. Listen very well so you understand. Creating a new and neutral covenant is the first thing to do. Then go into your element space spirit to address these people. We call the elders of your clan in that realm. Bring them up. Make them understand that this person is no longer in that side. And this person wants to do their service to God, not to any other deity. Whoever brought that deity is no longer alive. So that deity should go back to wherever it came from. 2 assignments that you have as a person is 1, giving instruction to that spirit to go back to where it came from, because you are the only one that can do it. Now that you already know that the person that reincarnated into you served that spirit. Creating an altar for it is not necessary, depending on what they did at their time. If it's the one that is being used to save people, fine. Creating an altar for them most times is not necessary. That's not the solution to it. Let me ask you this. Let's say you create the altar, the spirit comes. When you are done with your assignments, who is going to continue? Development is coming very fast. It is even more in the spiritual realm than here. It's just that the spirits that reincarnate, their journey ended at a certain point. What they know is what they saw last. I'm talking about the ancestral now. But then it is left for the spiritual family in Danapondo to make them understand some kind of things that are happening in the realms. That the element space has evolved and have sent them message in this their own realm. that there is development that has hit the earth, because it's been 200 years they came to earth last. Since they left this place, things have changed. When they enter here, come in as you, it is left for you to educate them this time. Within that 27 years, I told you in that video that every person that reincarnates into you has 27 years in your life. Your covenant with God that you need to turn to, and then God will by himself call the spirit you are even serving, the spirit you feel you are serving, and give them orientation. This is my beloved son with whom I am well pleased. Not your son, but your servant. He is my son. She is my daughter, not your daughter. Do you understand it? Most of these spirits, they walk with God. God sent them there to do their things. There are territorial spirits that God sent to keep counts, to make things happen. So you serving them is not a problem. The problem here is bringing demons and placing them as deities, and they are working and you are working for them. That's the problem. If there are spirits that are ordained by God to do assignments on earth and you are of service to them, you are also serving God. But if they are demons, my hand no dey there.